Good morning, preschool. I finally had some time here this morning before my kids have gotten up to read you the Bible stories that I had planned for this week. Now, we had been talking last week about how things were happening for Jesus up until the time of Easter. So I wanted to read you a little bit today about the first Lord's Supper. And it says in Matthew and Corinthians, while Jesus and his closest followers were eating the Passover dinner, Jesus took some bread and thanked God for it. He broke the bread apart and said, "Take this bread and eat it. Do this to remember me." Next, he took a cup and said, "When you drink the juice of the grape, remember me." Jesus knew this was his last meal with his followers. He was about to be killed. He wanted his followers to already and always remember him. So we think about that with some of us when we go to church and we still eat the bread and drink the juice to remember Jesus. We call this time of remembering communion or the Last Supper. Jesus prays for help. Jesus and his followers went straight from dinner to a quiet garden. Jesus wanted to pray and ask God to make him stronger for what was about to happen. He took 3 of his closest followers, Peter, James, and John, with him. Jesus asked them to wait and pray. He went a little farther into the garden so he could pray by himself. It was very late, and 3 men were very tired. They couldn't even keep their eyes open to pray. Soon they were asleep. Jesus woke them twice, but they went back to sleep each time. Okay. All right. Jesus is arrested. The 3rd time Jesus woke his followers, he said, "We must go. Here comes the man who has turned against me." Just then, a big crowd carrying torches and clubs came into the garden. Judas, one of Jesus' followers, was with them. He kissed Jesus on the cheek. It was a signal to the guards to arrest Jesus. Peter pulled out his sword and cut off the ear of one guard. Jesus told Peter to put the sword away. He healed the guard's ear. So we might think that the crowd would let Jesus go after he healed the man's ear, but they didn't. They arrested him and they took him away. The last story I want to read to you this week about this is Pilate questions Jesus, and this is from the book of Luke. Lots of people loved Jesus, but there were many who didn't like him at all. After Jesus was captured in the garden, he was taken to the house of the high priest, then to Pilate, the Roman governor of Judea. All night, the rulers asked Jesus if he was God's son. They did not believe that he was. Finally, Pilate said that he didn't think Jesus was guilty, but the people who didn't like Jesus kept yelling until Pilate discovered that Jesus had to die on a cross. So a lot of the people didn't believe that Jesus was God's son. They were very angry. And so even though Pilate didn't think Jesus was guilty, the people around him questioned why he wasn't doing anything. So it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on us. And sometimes there are things that we know we shouldn't do, but maybe someone else kind of says, "Oh, you should do that." But remember, we should always listen to that little voice inside of us that might tell us when something isn't right, and to speak up and say something. Okay? That's it for this week for Bible story. Next week, I have a couple stories and then kind of sad stories. And then I have a very, very special book to me that I'm going to read to you, and it's one of my favorites. I hope you're having a wonderful week off with your families, and I love you all, I miss you all, and I hope to see you soon.